A major decision today as the judge is going to move Alex Murdaugh's retrial on murder charges out of Colleton County. Just a couple of hours ago, lawyers from both sides argued over several points in the upcoming case. News 19's Kiki Gushu inside the courtroom today as the hearing played out. She's joining us live here in Lexington County. The biggest developments from today's hearing. So, Kiki, what have you learned so far today?
Now, Christy, Judge Debra McCaslin has not said where this retrial will happen, but she has said where it won't happen. Now, the defense argued that deep family ties at the 14th Judicial Circuit, as well as high publicity and the improper actions of former clerk of court Becky Hill make it impossible for this retrial to happen in Colleton County.
I'm going to order that venue be transferred to a county outside of the 14th Judicial Circuit because I believe that the defendant cannot receive a fair and impartial trial in Colleton County.
During a 3.5-hour hearing Friday, lawyers from both sides in the Alex Murdaugh case argued their sides, and the judge made rulings, including siding with the defense request for a change of venue. In explaining her ruling, Judge Debra McCaslin pointed to the exceptional number of jurors disqualified the first time, the Murdaugh family's long-standing connection to the community, former clerk of court Becky Hill's conduct, and the continued publicity surrounding the case.
Colleton County is poison, but the courthouse is the scene of the crime. We can't go back there. So
the defense is pushing for Charleston, arguing it offers a much larger jury pool and better access for the dozens of witnesses and out-of-state experts expected at trial. Prosecutor Colleton Waters said the state is open to discussing a new location, but pushed back on Charleston as the only option.
Happy to have a reasonable discussion. What I can't do is just have the defense dictate the most expensive and what we consider the most logistically difficult county in the state.
McCaslin said cost will be a factor, noting Colleton County is responsible for paying for the retrial. She will choose the new county later. Another major fight, testimony on male DNA found under the fingernails of Murdaugh's wife, Maggie Murdaugh, on the night of her killing. The defense wants private lab Othram to conduct more advanced genetic testing on DNA from an unknown male, arguing SLED has already had years to test the evidence.
They did all the testing they wanted to do, and now we've come up and asked to test it, and guess what? Oh, we want to test it. Well, they've already tested it, and now because we asked to test it, they want to take control of our testing? I mean, that's not fair.
But prosecutors also want to test the samples again, saying the reserved portion of the fingernail sample has never been processed, and testing a different portion could produce something new.
I'm not expecting a different result, but there's always the chance.
That led to debate over who could test the sample first. McCaslin decided to break the testing into steps. The defense will get the remaining extract from their original testing to test. They'll then report back on how much is left over, and then that will determine if further testing can be done. In another important ruling, McCaslin said Murdaugh's sworn testimony from his first trial can be used at his retrial, rejecting the defense's argument that this should be treated as a different criminal case. McCaslin said what portions can actually be used will depend on what evidence she allows during the new trial.
If it's not relevant, it's not in your case in chief, then that prior testimony is not coming in.
McCaslin made it very clear here today she still intends for the trial to take place on April 5th. And it is a possibility that we might get word on the DNA testing before the next full pretrial hearing that was scheduled today for November 13th here at the Lexington County Courthouse. But of course, the biggest outcome of today is where this new trial will take place. Live in Lexington, Kiki Gushu, News 19, WLTX.
All righty, Kiki, thank you so much. Now, speaking of that venue change, we did want to hear from some experts to get their opinions. So we spoke with criminal defense attorney Dane Phillips to get his take on what the motion boils down to.
The cost. To me, this boils down, like most things in life, money. The state is going to have to spend a significant amount of money on this retrial, having all the state's attorney general's office, because they're going to have half their office, if not practically the whole office, living in whatever county the case is going to be. I'd imagine this trial lasts close to a month. So you're going to have 100 people in a hotel for a month, plus all the state witnesses. having it in a place that is a top 10 destination in the world, the cost alone would be outrageous. So I believe, to me, what makes most sense is to keep it in the Midlands. I don't believe it's going to be in Richland County. However, I think that would be more favorable to the defense if it stayed in Richland County. But if it stayed in Lexington, where it's still close, where none of the characters involved or parties involved have to have hotels, SLED is local, the Attorney General's office is local, the defense attorneys are local, everybody is here. So from a purely financial reason, it would be here.
Of course, you can always depend on us as we continue to bring you the very latest on the Alex Murdaugh murder trial. Again, you can always follow us on air and online at WLTX.com.